Good morning, all my career readiness friends. This is Karen Smith at the Department of Public Instruction on our career and technical education team. And as always, we are super excited to have you here with us for our career readiness community of practice. And today we're going to talk about our most important audience, our students. So we have some of our CISA ACP leaders, as well as some educators from the field that are here to talk to you about the strategies that they use to really not only get students into their courses and programs, but get them really excited about it and make sure that they are as engaged as possible. So before we get started, just a reminder, as always, to make sure that you are muted. So if everyone could take a second and just double check that you are on mute so that we don't get any background noise. And if you'd like, you can turn off your video. It's really up to you and depending on the kind of bandwidth you have. But we definitely want to make sure that your microphone is on mute. And with that, I am going to turn it over to our facilitators today, Mary and Kayla.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kayla Dar, and I am the CTE consultant for CISA 5.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mary Maderich, and I'm the ACP coordinator at CISA 12.
Career readiness is playing a role in our community's future. Through career readiness, our students have the opportunity to learn, apply what they've learned, and choose their future and build upon their personal thoughts and goals. Career readiness is designed for all students to be able to make a plan for their future, even if it might change down the road. So today, we are here in our webinar, Learning Together, so we can prepare Wisconsin's youth. We are going to start with the webinar, and then we're moving in to listen to some students and teachers' reflections on how they're engaging students or how they were engaged when they were in high school. And we'll be discussing that then in our breakout rooms, and then we're going to use that information and hopefully apply it to our school districts. Whenever we look at the alignment to CTE without limits, there are 5 principles that we have designed to build programs and our student outcomes to success. The principles are getting students engaged, making them feel welcome and supported, planning their own career path, being valued, having access to career and technical education. With these principles in mind, we can influence how our students are involved and engaged in career readiness. Whenever we're looking at this slide here, how do we get students involved? This list might spark some ideas for you, or you might see things that your school's already doing for some of these activities. We do have some that are indicated by that little asterisk that are power practices. These are identified by the Wisconsin Evaluation Collaborative for our Academic and Career Planning 2018-2019 evaluation report. And today, these are the 3 young ladies that we're going to be listening to. They couldn't join us live this morning, but they did some interviews with me, and I'm excited to let you guys listen in on what they're up to in their educational and career plans. They are a variety of students. One's 5 years out of high school, one's 2 years out of high school, and one is just graduating this spring. Okay, I'm going to let them kind of introduce themselves in the video as we go. Here we go.
Hello, my name is Mackenzie Troost, and I graduated from Montello High School in 2017. Currently, I am working towards my bachelor's degree in wildlife ecology and management with minors in both biology and captive wildlife at UWSP with hopes of graduating in 2022.
Hello, everyone. My name is Hannah Hockerman, and I'm the 19-year-old daughter of Greg and Dawn Hockerman. I'm originally from Westfield, Wisconsin, where I grew up on my family's dairy. I'm currently a sophomore here at Rock Valley College studying agricultural education and dairy science management. I'm also a student athlete here on campus. I was involved in FFA, student council, and other activities throughout high school as well as athletics.
My name is Emily Biddleman, and I am part of the Westfield FFA chapter. I plan on graduating in the spring of 2022 and in the fall of 2022 attending UW-Platteville for a degree in agribusiness and animal science.
How did you get interested in being involved in a student organization?
I was first interested in joining this organization for a few reasons. First, it was that both my brother and my sister had been in this organization in high school, and I wanted to follow in their footsteps. Secondly, I knew that this would boost my resume. And lastly, I truly wanted to explore the opportunities that this organization could offer me both at the present time and in the future.
I got involved in FFA because of my work on my family's dairy farm and the allure of learning about agriculture.
I became interested in FFA because it was something my older brother and sisters did when they were in high school, and I wanted to gain the same experiences and values that they did. I also wanted to be surrounded by a group with other like-minded students.
What skills or values do you feel you have gained through the student organization?
FFA definitely allowed me to gain many skills and values. Through this organization, I gained soft skills or my people skills. I learned how to interact with others, communicate with them professionally through workshops, presentations, and casual conversation. This skill allowed me to develop new relationships and engage with diverse groups of people. I gained teamwork skills by learning how to work with others, give and take constructive criticism, and build trust with others through officer positions. I also gained leadership skills. I held many officer positions, which allowed me to learn more about myself and gain many other skills, such as patience, communication, problem solving, proper interaction with others, public speaking, and confidence. I also came to value life experiences. The opportunities that arise from this program and many student organizations are unbelievable and turned out to be some of the best times I had during high school and still to this day. I also learned to value friendships and connections with many different people that have continued past my time in the organization.
One skill I was able to obtain while being in FFA is the opportunity to become a great leader. Not only my leadership characteristics, but also the ability to compete in many competitions, from speaking contests to interview skills. I learned a lot from being in FFA, and it has really helped me become who I am today.
I have learned many skills and values throughout my time in FFA, such as being a better communicator, having a good work ethic, and becoming a leader.
What experiences have allowed you to gain those skills that you have obtained?
I gained many of these skills through experiences like networking opportunities such as workshops, conventions, holding officer positions, filling out proficiency applications where I learned how to professionally write, volunteer work by getting out into the community and helping others, and contests like speaking contests, which help build my confidence and my public speaking skills.
The skills I obtained through FFA were largely due to my involvement in the career development events, leadership development events, and other activities I was able to participate in the classroom with hands-on learning activities.
I gained the trait of becoming a better leader by holding multiple officer positions on the officer team, which taught me how to better delegate the workload, work as a team, and to give a helping hand when needed.
How do you feel we can get others engaged in CTSOs or career readiness?
I feel like you can engage others for career readiness by being excited about student organizations. Letting students know that there's many different careers that they can ready themselves for. One way that could get students more engaged is by bringing in different speakers or professionals from the workforce and having them give a presentation to the students. And this allows the students to ask questions and interact with them so that they are aware of what is out there for them.
I feel that we can get students prepared.
Sorry, guys.
Hello, my name is Mackenzie. Find connections. I
apologize. Let's see. Is that about where we were, Karen?
I think so. Let's just pick it up there.
To learn the hundreds of different opportunities that are available to us, which we are unfamiliar.
What was the most influential experience you had when it comes to career readiness?
Overall, I think that the most influential experience I had when it comes to readiness for the workplace is being part of student organizations, whether it's in high school and being FFA or some club in college. Getting involved helps students to really put themselves out there and find connections. I've gained so many skills that have helped me ready myself for my future career, but they've also helped me get to where I am today. Also, I think that exploring different career areas is important. Things like job shadowing can help. Personally, when I was in the middle of changing majors, I job shadowed 2 different professions, one in the medical field and one in the biology field, and that really helped me decide what I wanted to do with my future career. But without all the skills I gained through the student organizations that I have been a part of throughout my life, I may have not had the confidence or professional attitude to do that. So student organizations really helped me discover who I was and who I could be in the workplace through the skills, values, and experiences that I gained.
My most influential experience I've had when it comes to readiness in the workplace is the ability to learn skills that many people do not have. The skills that require work ethic, attention to detail, communication, and leadership are all skills that I learned through this program and that I was able to apply to my work.
The most influential experience I had was participating in the CTE events such as equine and dairy judging. Even though I am undecided about what future job I would like to obtain, being surrounded by like-minded people who also hold the same love of the agriculture and animal field has guided me into the field of agriculture, where I too hope to have a positive impact on the people and things around me.
All right. I hope that these 3 young ladies' insight to their perspective on career and technical student organizations and career readiness experience that they've had gives you a little insight to their perspective on how they're seeing how things are being done or what they're picking up with their future. Okay.
When asked about our educational system and what prepares for success, 73% of young Americans said on-the-job experience was very important. However, a 2020 survey found that only 34% of the students were aware of work-based learning experiences while in high school. Our next 2 guests will be Jenny Forsythe from Maple, who will talk about how she engages students in her CTSOs, and Roger Peterson from Hurley, who is going to talk about how he gets students interested in their school-based learning experience, their manufacturing store. So the next slide has our 2 speakers. We'll let Jenny take over from here. And oh wait, we're going to take Roger first, and then we'll go over to Jenny. So Roger is going to cop on with work-based and school-based work activities at Hurley Manufacturing.
Hello, my name is Roger Peterson. I'm the Woods instructor here at Hurley High School. Myself and Jake Hostetler, the metals instructor, one of the ways that we really try to focus on engaging our students is through the use of a school-based work experience. So we have a company called Northwoods Manufacturing. We have 2 divisions with wood manufacturing and metal manufacturing. This is a concept you see a lot of schools around the state adopting, and it's become quite popular and very effective because it engages students so well, I believe. I've been using this model for about 18 years because I experimented with it one time, and just the way the students bought in, I believe because they had a little bit more input on what we actually did in class. Some of the key elements to this work-based experience model are staff, students that are very involved and committed to the process, an administration that allows you to have a little bit of creativity and freedom on how you're going to develop and put out your curriculum to the students, a supportive school board that provides funding and just good facility that will support the program, and then also local industry, which provides not only financial support, but also the technical support that we as teachers may not be able to always provide the kids. Here at Hurley, we have approximately, from an enrollment status, about 200 students in grades 9 through 12. In the shop, metals and woods combined, we have over 80 students. So we're almost 50% of the school is actually enrolling in our classes. Currently have about 20% of our population down here is female students, which only 5 years ago was about 5% of our population was female students. We have a lot of students that also take both metals and woods classes, which is kind of exciting because they can kind of feel where their interests lie as a freshman or a sophomore, and then they can go into a direction where they really feel they're interested. In addition to that, we have over 20 students that have at least 2 classes throughout the day in one of our metals or woods courses. We've had some students that have 3-4 classes a day. Last year I had a student, a senior that graduated, had 6 periods a day down here because she had all her other classes, credit work done in years previous. We would like to be able to increase our enrollment with our AP students. I think this is a good opportunity in a work-based environment like this to actually show them how all their academic skills and that bookwork end of it, let's get out and apply it. So that's something that we're trying to work on right now. And excuse me. And I think we'll see some improvement in that over the next few years as well. In regards to student engagement, we start out with foundation courses where we have introductory metals or introductory woods classes that allow the students to get base knowledge and understanding of concepts within within the wood or metals industry. The neat thing too is that students are able to influence their curriculum based on what their strengths and interests are that they learned in a foundational class. And that actually allows them to then lean towards, say, CNC operator or a machine operator, CNC designer. I have some students that will just stay in the office and work on event planning, accounting, things of that nature. So it kind of allows for a wide range of student interests within the in the program. We do a lot of mentoring as well. Once students have a real good understanding of a concept, they're leaned on by us as instructors to assist students that are in that like medium level, medium range need for assistance. And that allows us as teachers to then do one-on-one with students that have higher needs, to allow kind of everybody to stay engaged throughout the course of the day. Students also have a lot of control in the operation of the business, which includes taking in work orders. So there's a lot of interaction with local community and customers. So they get that kind of customer support interaction. They manage workflow. They develop and manage work orders, customer interaction. They'll assign work, go through quality control, billing, payment collection. And in terms of payment collection, the profits that we make actually come back into the shop. So the students are able to say, hey, you know, my favorite sentence that a student could ask me is, Mr. Peterson, can I? Because it shows that they're really putting out that level of interest that they're extending beyond what we're directing them to do. And I think that creativity is also allowing us to expand. You know, in this case, right now at this school year, a kid wanted to do cribbage boards. We did a couple of cribbage boards, and all of a sudden for Christmas, we had 20 cribbage boards just within the school that teachers wanted made. And then that again expanded into a local business that requested 250 cribbage boards to be made. So that gets the students really excited when they have that much control over what we may do within our class. They also will do some event planning, whether it's a Christmas craft fair locally or a local community event where they have vending opportunities. Students will sell their product as well. As far as where students are right now, We have students, all over in the trade industries, CNC operators, construction, welders, entrepreneurs, HVAC, mechanics, engineering, which I'm sure is common with a lot of the other schools that are out there. We do have students that come back to help out as well. A few years ago, we had a student come back and teach a night class through a local community college, and was able to use our brand new facility that was added on because the school board and community saw a need for us to expand our facility. And again, that provided that opportunity to have an adult class being taught by a former student. I have a former student that's also taken off and started his own business in the past couple of years. Started out as a logger, and just through his experience here with the student-run business, he was able to understand the process of what it would take to actually go through and start that business up again. So just kind of summarize here, what I think makes it successful and engaging for students is just having everybody bought into the process, from the teachers through the community. It's all on board type deal. Regardless of the model that's used, you really want to focus on those soft skills and work ethic, and that soft skills is kind of the going term right now. And I think largely that's what we push as much, if not more, than the actual trades part of it. We have a lot of employers that actually say we can teach them the skilled trades on the job, get them the foundations of what they need to do, and just make sure that they show up to work, they're professional, and they understand the work process. It's not always pretty. When you have an operation like this, there's days where you have 5 different jobs going on, as well as trying to teach perhaps a new student that might have just enrolled. And so it just takes all hands on deck within the classroom, as well, as far as those advanced students and mentors and so on and so forth. It's not always about making profit. Students break bits, we waste materials. So it's not like we're rolling in cash here making money, but it allows the students to, again, have that freedom to make mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and grow and learn with the teacher. We often get work that doesn't involve something I'm experienced with, and it's new. So we sit down together, and I think the students really enjoy seeing a teacher that doesn't know everything and wants to learn along with them, which then I think helps develop that lifelong learner concept, and really grabs in that next level engagement there as well. I guess that's all I can think of right now. You have any questions or thoughts, anything that I might have missed there? Hope I wasn't on mute the whole time.
You weren't, Roger. Thank you. There is a question or two. One of the questions is, were there any special things that you did through the years to increase that number of females participating in your program?
I'm trying to think if there's something specific. I think it was more just when we had we'd have like junior high classes where it's required and everybody does it. I think it was just putting the idea in their head that anybody can do this. This isn't a male-oriented profession, and just the way you see the world going. I mean, these female students are seeing that. I mean, anybody can do anything. Whatever your NTO, your non-traditional occupation that you're looking for, whether it be in the trades or nursing. I think we're seeing more of that just because it's more accepted. So as far as what we're doing, it's just encouraging them, saying you can do this. There is a career out there for you. If you enjoy it, do it.
Hey, Mary.
Yeah.
Mary, this is Melissa Oja from Hurley.
Hi, Melissa.
I just wanted to mention one of Roger's greatest strengths is that his openness to trying different things. And Roger was okay with taking on our 8th grade class for half of the school year. Basically, it's a semester class. So he has every student for an entire semester, and then the other half for the next semester. And the things that he's exposing the students to down in his area is really, truly, I think, a big part of why he has such a great group of kids that want to continue with his classes because they get to spend a lot of time with him and get to know him. And it's a requirement that we have for all of our 8th graders that they're down there. And I do feel like that's a really good feeder for him and his program, and also for Mr. Hostetler.
Thank you. That's a great point. I think that building that relationship is extremely important in keeping kids engaged in these activities. Roger, there's another question. How
Yes.
do you support students learning the business side? Now, I know I was there to visit, and I got to see the business end of your business. So can you explain?
Yeah, so some students, they, even as 8th graders, as Melissa just stated, I have 8th grade students that really don't care to be in the shop working on tools. And so then rather than make them feel uncomfortable for a semester, I try to provide them alternatives. I have some students that might do social media where they will take pictures and post them on our Facebook. And then that's their responsibility. It's not just working in the shop, it's let's share what work is being in the shop. The other part of it, as far as the students who do the quality control and the events and just the workflow, we do some summer work here as well. I'll come in 2-3 days a week during the summer, depending on student interest. And those students get more one-on-one time. So we really get to sit down and do the business end of it. I'm not an accountant, but we do try using QuickBooks. And so they get the basic concept of what that process looks like. And then if they are interested, I feel that they will learn that better if they go on to post-secondary school to get, better experience, but at least they get a chance to kind of see it and see if that's really interesting for them.
Okay, another question is how many CTE teachers are in your building?
2. We have 2.
And you have woods and metals?
Correct.
Okay, and can you shed some light on success of any students with IEPs and how being in your shop has changed their outlook on school?
Yes, one of my best stories, and I like going back to Monica a lot. Monica struggled a lot when she first moved here as an 8th grader. She felt comfortable down here. She really enjoyed what she did, and with the woodworking end of it. And she had a few bumpy years, just home stuff outside of school, and this was kind of always a safe place for her. And by her senior year, like I say, she had 6 class periods down here a day, and she pretty much ran the shop. I went to her to ask what I needed to do because she had taken over as a leader. She was an inspiration to other female students. So she would come in the summertime, grab a group of female students, work on CNC design, which was her strength. And she actually ended up, after she graduated, going to Minnesota as a CNC operator, as a metal CNC operator, which she had never run before, but she jumped right in and she was doing the work. And yeah, that's my smile of the day story is Monica.
Good, Roger, thank you. And one last thing, can you just elaborate a little bit on some of your special projects? You have the Stormy Cromer project. You have a couple students who have done some amazing individual projects like the fishing lures and that beautiful table that I saw being made when I was there to visit. How that creativity and that Roger allows them to be creative is just, it's inspiring to adults to watch the kids engage in that.
Again, when a student says, "Can I make a fishing lure?" I have a hard time saying no. Let's try something. So this student actually went through and developed the whole process through cutting it out on the bandsaw, sanding it down. He bought a couple $100. I gave him a budget, about $500, to purchase whatever supplies he needed. And he went through and he made about 40 of these fishing lures his senior year. We have a lot of hardwood furniture that we make for local people as well. You said the big Stormy Cromer cribbage board order. I'm just looking in the shop right now. Kids are working. It's hard to say whether it's bag toss games. I'm just looking at stuff in front of me right now. A lot of custom CNC signs. kind of our foundation work that everybody has to make as a cutting board. So we usually have 100 cutting boards laying around for people to buy. But that could be a basic cutting board to a 3 foot by 3 foot butcher block. So depending on the level of complexity a student wants to put into a project. Yeah, we did a sap shack last year, a little maple syrup shed, wooden pens, yeah, a lot of furniture. Yeah, it's a mixed bag of everything. People come through the door and they want something. I would encourage people, if you get a chance, look up our Facebook, or there's a lot of good pictures on Facebook that the kids post stuff. Northwoods Manufacturing Hurley, I believe, is the Facebook page. The kids built that. I don't know how to use it half the time. They run it. And then we also have a web page, northwoodsmfg.net, that there's some work the students have done on there as well. Encourage you to visit. And even better yet, come up and see the shop. The kids are used to company coming up here, whether it's other schools, businesses, customers. The kids are really good at being professional and showing people around, and kind of gives them a chance to puff out their chests and show off their work.
Roger, I want to thank you so much for sharing your experiences with us. Again, it was a pure pleasure to come and visit and see your students, older students guiding younger students, and just that they have ownership and pride over their shop area it's inspiring for adults to see as well. So thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks. And next we have Jenny Forsythe, and she's coming into us from Maple to talk about their successes with CTSOs and how they're keeping students engaged over in Maple Northwestern.
Good morning, everybody. Jenny Forsythe. So just some background. I am the at-risk and school to work coordinator over at Northwestern High School up in Maple, Wisconsin. So my other areas I'm involved in, it's nice to kind of hear a lot of these things, but I'm in charge of school to work, youth apprenticeship, office services, student tutoring. So there's that whole backside. I think today we're going to focus more on the CTSOs, which I've only been an advisor for the last few years. So basically started the year of COVID. So kind of talking about navigating through some of that, but we have got a really great team here at Northwestern. So I just want to talk you through how we engage our students, you know, in all of our CTSOs and our CTE classes. And basically, you know, some of the driving points that we want to hit are being student-centered, personalized, engaging, and we want to start early. So we don't necessarily have feeder programs at the middle school, but we're really conscious about making sure to talk to rising freshmen about opportunities that they have in the high school that are different than at the middle school. So for example, you know, our middle school does a lot of stuff with Zello, doing like interest inventories and, you know, career-based learning. We also sometimes will do our reality store with our 8th grade students, where they'll, you know, engage in finding out what kind of careers, kind of what the reality is of having a career and being able to budget and all that stuff. But then when they come up as freshmen, they and their parents come and we'll have an orientation for them, where they will hear from all the CTE teachers about the different classes and student organizations that they can get involved in here at the high school. And then they'll have the opportunity to go to different classes and actually visit. And that's when the school is just here for the freshmen and for their parents to just do that one-on-one type of stuff. In our course description book, we talk a lot about there's descriptions, there's also the pathways that are posted in the book and also around the school of, you know, the specific like pathways Wisconsin, you know, you've got your construction, manufacturing. We also have a nursing pathway and just kind of helping them to lead through of if you're interested in these careers, here's a good path to follow right out of the gate their freshman year. Some other fun things that we do is we, at the beginning of the year, are really conscious about trying to promote our students to get involved. I'm one of the link crew coordinators. And so one of the things we always talk about at freshman orientation that's just for the freshmen outside of their parents being there is find your tribe. So find the groups and organizations that are really going to fit what you're interested in. And so how we do that is at the start of the school year, everyone will go into our auditorium and all of the different student organizations and clubs will present whole school, and it's student leader led. Our student council is the one that coordinates everything, but every group has their individual leaders that talk to the entire student body about what their club and organization is and how they can get involved. We follow that up with an activity fair a day or two later, where again, students are leading and our leaders are all around the cafeteria. It's much more informal, where we'll have candy at tables and try to get kids to sign up for activities. And what we do on purpose is we have the freshmen go through first, then the sophomores, juniors, seniors, because by the time they're upperclassmen, they kind of know what they want to do. We want to give our freshmen the most time to kind of go through everything and find what's the best fit for them. And again, candy is key to the success of that activity. Anytime that you can try to bring that to a student. I have some very fun pictures from, I went up on our stairs looking into our commons, and there are just kids everywhere. They're holding up posters, they're jumping around, they're dancing. It's very fun, very engaging. Each of our teachers that has CTE courses runs their own club. So we're very lucky. We support programming in FFA, FBLA, FCCLA, DECA, and Tiger Manufacturing, where we actually have 2 teachers that work in our tech ed world. We as a group meet once a month or once a week, excuse me, just as a CTE department to touch base with one another, get filled in on different activities that are happening. And, you know, then within that, each advisor has their own like standards of practice. So for me as the DECA advisor, because I have so many responsibilities and I'm not in the classroom with students one-on-one, I'm really purposeful of getting out that calendar right away. So I pre-book for the whole year a monthly meeting to make sure that, one, I'm held accountable to making sure I meet with the students, but then the flip side too is that the students have that calendar so that they know what they're getting themselves into ahead of time. We have lots of one-on-one check-ins then too before competition, where I will talk with the students. And basically, you know, DECA is an association of marketing students, but basically it's how it works is the students take one test and get 2 role plays where they receive a real life scenario. And depending on if they're in an individual competition or a partner competition, they have a set amount of time to read through it and then basically come up with a plan of how they would solve the problem, engage with the customer so that they're going to, you know, be happy with the end result, or just how to promote the plan that they're working on. And what I try to do is be really conscious of with the kids about, if you have a job in a restaurant, you probably should compete in a restaurant category. If you work at a hotel, you should compete and use your real life knowledge to help you with that. I've also had students where their parents work in HR. It's like, do that. You know, that's something that you can talk to your parents about, you know, and just trying to bring in the real life content that either they're experiencing or people that they know are experiencing to kind of help them. It's also just really good practice. No matter what type of career that you're going to go into, you're going to need to problem solve and be able to talk to people. It's basically kind of like an interview when we're doing our competitions. So I always say to students, it doesn't matter if you're going into marketing or not, you're going to have something that's going to help you get a leg up when you go into the world of work after this. I think it's also really important to not only have just that competition aspect, but also provide opportunities for students that maybe aren't as excited about competing, but more of exposure based. So we're really conscious of like trying to do field trips where we can bring students to places that have different business situations, or just being able to show kids, what does this look like in the real world? We also attend conferences that aren't like competition based. So for example, this last December, I brought my students to the Sports and Entertainment Marketing Conference in Green Bay, where we toured Lambeau Field, toured the Resch Center, heard from the Green Bay Packers marketing, you know, we also heard about how their local baseball team rebranded this last year. And so it's just talking to these kids about real life experiences so that they can see, like, if you're interested in this, here's where classroom meets, you know, career. We also try to bring in speakers to our DECA chapter. Last year, even though it was COVID, some things opened up. I was able to bring in speakers that I wouldn't be able to otherwise. For example, I had one of my good friends who I taught with in Kansas City. She's a professor in Paris in hospitality. So I was able to Zoom her in. I wouldn't have been able to do that. Like, I would have been able to do it, I guess, but it just brought it to the forefront of like, take advantage of the opportunities that are there. And just too, I've used my network. I was a DECA student when I was in high school. And so I still keep in contact with many of those people. And so I bring them in of like, how did DECA help impact your future? I also encourage my students, we have leadership positions within our organization, but I encourage them to network outside of just our group too. So for several years, I've had students on the Wisconsin DECA Leadership Council, where that's an opportunity for local chapter leaders to meet with other local chapter leaders and kind of engage and promote the different goals of the organization. This last weekend, I also had a student who ran for DECA state office. So these are all just great opportunities where, whether the student moves on in those areas or not, it's just a great experience to go through an interview process with a panel individually, doing group projects. There's just a lot of advantages to doing that. Let's see, some other things. So DECA has DECA Month in the fall. I'm going to be honest with you, that's something that that's an area for improvement for me. Like, I will typically do a couple little plugs. We'll do, kind of a lunch and learn where kids, it's very informal. We'll have candy, and I have these interview questions that kids will ask one another to get a piece of candy. And we'll do kind of announcements in the morning. And if the kids can answer the trivia question correctly here in the guidance office, I'll give them a piece of candy. We are in CTE Month right now, so that part is really fun. So with that, we're also doing announcements again. So every morning I have kids coming into the guidance office to come answer a question of like, who's a CTSO advisor? What's a CTE course you can take? Can you get credit for working? All of those types of things just to raise awareness. We're doing social media pushes where I send it to our school social media pages. So every day on Facebook, we've got some kind of engagement. We have posters and bulletin boards that we update for this month with pictures and just kind of, again, making awareness about what does CTE stand for, what does CTSO stand for. We will be doing a lunch and learn tomorrow where we'll have all of our different clubs that are CTSOs. We'll have a booth in the lunchroom that kids can engage and again, get candy, promote for them to join and kind of understand what groups, what activities they do. We also present at school board meetings where, we just this Monday, my DECA kids and our FBLA kids presented because we're moving into competition. We have DECA State next week down in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and FBLA has their state competition here in March. So just trying to promote that with our school board as well. We also have some fun stuff happening. A fundraiser for FFA next week is Pie a Teacher in the Face. And we've added in this year a couple senior names that kids can also buy raffle tickets for. And that will be happening then next Friday, just again, to promote kind of different things that are happening. And then that money will get donated to a charity. Our school, we also do monthly recognition assemblies where the different sports, activities, and clubs can recognize their students in front of the whole body. We're, just really cognizant about making sure that kids are constantly aware of all the different opportunities that we have, and just making sure that the kids get recognized for the cool things that they're doing. End of the year stuff, especially for our seniors, were one of the great things that one of our tech ed teachers brought up, which we thought was a great idea. We do signings for if a kid is going to go run track or play football at a university. We're doing the same thing for trades. Like if they're signing with a union, we'll do a signing day. We also have what's next boards for all of our senior class for anyone that wants to participate. And basically it says what school or university they're going to, or, if they're going into a trade. Some other things that I think are really important are bringing as many partnerships to the table as possible. So I work with CEP, the Concentrated Employment Program, a lot. They come in once a month with me to meet. Sarah's also my youth apprenticeship coordinator, so that's a lot of what we talk about. but we're a rural school. So we're trying to bring resources as much as we can out here. So things that we'll do are business spotlight lunches, where we'll have a business, informally sit with our kids, and sometimes they'll do push-ins with classes, sometimes they don't. But we're just trying to bring as many opportunities as we can out here. DVR is also started this month, coming out once a week to meet with students and help them career plan if they're on an IEP or a 504 plan, and to kind of help to bring more resources to them. We have job shadow opportunities for the students as much as we can. But again, the students are responsible for kind of, because we are out in the country, kind of getting some of that organized themselves. And then I helped to provide resources for them. But within the School to Work, youth apprenticeship, student tutoring, office services umbrella, I ask kids, like, if they're in student tutoring, I ask them, are you interested in being a teacher? Because if you are, and you're thinking like, I don't know if I want to be a gym teacher or a math teacher, I'll be really purposeful and say, I'm going to put you 1 quarter with a gym teacher and 1 quarter with math teacher, so that they can have that experience, so they can help decide this is something I want to do. Or I always say to kids too, or you put it in the no pile. That's just as valuable, because all of those experiences are going to help drive forward what you're going to do with your career. Something that I'm really purposeful with as well, if a student is involved in student tutoring or office services, I feel like it's my job to make sure that they get ready for the real world. And so they have to fill out an application where we have references. So by the end, they'll have 3 references. They'll have the teacher reference that I asked them for, they'll have me, and they'll have their supervisor. We create resumes, we do mock interviews. So just as much as we can, we're really trying to make as many opportunities as we can for students. And we also try to make it manageable fee-wise. Like for my group, the fee is about $20 to become a DECA member. But if they work, we'll do fundraisers. If they, sell so much in a fundraiser, then what will happen is I will take that fee off, that they don't have to pay for anything. I also work really hard to get a lot of grant funding so that I can provide opportunities for kids without a cost associated. So for example, when the kids went to the sports marketing conference, I paid for that with grant money. Other opportunities, medical discovery days, that's something that I partnered with SEP, Ready to Work, Diva Tech. I run a future planning day for my at-risk kids, where we specifically go to a local technical university, and we meet with the job center and kind of get a tour of their resources and set up one-on-one interviews for kids that day. Because these are kids that, even though they might have gone to our whole group events, it's just, they tend to do better in a smaller group where it's their peers that have also struggled. And so we're trying to be really purposeful of making sure that those opportunities are there for kids. I saw something in the chat of like, is it possible for students to teach other students some of these mini ACP lessons? One of the DECA projects that we have kids do is called the Marketing Educator Template. And basically what that is I've had students, and I had the same 2 students do it last year that are doing it this year, where they create a lesson plan and teach it to middle school students. Now, because of COVID last year, we weren't able to teach in, but this year, I have had those students ask, can I go to the middle school and actually present this? So again, we try to make it as real world as possible. And kind of, what our other speaker said is like, if the students ask, I will help. Like, I always tell the students, like, I will not do this for you, but I will support you with whatever you need help with. And so that's kind of the thing, is I give them the leash and they kind of lead where they want to go. And I say, you're going to get out of this what you put in. So, kind of sky's the limit, but just putting that responsibility on them with a lot of friendly reminders is kind of the way that we go.
Jenny, thank you so much for all those ideas. You just kept firing them out there for us to think about what makes a good CTSO program, a good career readiness program, a good SHOP program, whatever it is. Some of those things that you mentioned, make it fun. Think like a salesman. Morning announcements in a silly British accent, to catch the attention of your students. Customize your offerings and customize what are the students asking for really is important. And I love the whole idea of building traditions. You guys have the Find Your Tribe day, and I'm thinking things like, if you've ever been in Randall Stadium, the jump activity where everybody stands up and jumps around to the song. I mean, I think making it fun and making it relatable to your students is great. So the next section of our day is to break out and give you guys a chance to talk about what you've heard today. And our challenge is for you to come out of today through your discussion, share what you do, share what you heard, but think of something new, a new thing, a new strategy that you want to try right away, right? Because our session today is engaging those kids, getting them in and keeping them with us throughout their education. And so I hope you guys have a great breakout, wonderful conversations. We'll come back and do a quick shout out with our ideas.
I am going to open up our breakout rooms in just a second. If I could add on one other thought as you go into your breakout rooms. There are so many wonderful ideas that you just heard, but especially for those of you that are in smaller school districts or rural school districts, sometimes it feels a little bit overwhelming. And so think about not only what is one new idea that you can implement, but how can you work on that with a friend, right? Maybe it's a neighboring school district that the 2 or 3 of you can work together to create some of those partnerships or develop some of these activities or strategies together so that you're lightening the load. Or even if you're in a larger district, think about who else in your district you can be bringing into this conversation and engaging in this work. So with that, I'm going to open up our breakout rooms. You should see something pop up right now where you